Welcome to the Powers of Love, a raw and real conversation about the most powerful force in the universe and how to liberate this power within to have a happy, healthy, and prosperous life. Now here's your hosts, Jason Michael and Heather Powers.
Welcome, welcome. We are so excited to be here today because the topic that we're going to be discussing is one that literally sums up, I think, the life work that Jason and I came here to do together. It has many facets and goes off to many other shoots of creativity, but this is really, truly at the core. We're going to talk about sex, money, and power. And the reason we decided we really wanted to bring this to the forefront today is because if you're reading anything in the news, you're seeing these stories of allegations that are coming up. There is disclosure happening about things that have been going on casting couches, in back rooms in Hollywood, in the government. And we believe that as we've worked through and continue to work through these shadowy areas in our own life, that it is our joyful responsibility to bring light to it and bring liberation to these places that have really kept us in dark places as a culture, as a society, and as a planet. And so with that, I want to turn the mic over to my beloved.
Well, hello, everybody. I want to do, every show, I'd love to just state our intention. I think intention is a very, very powerful thing. Mm-hmm. And why are we doing this thing called Powers of Love? Our mission is to help awaken more love on the planet by helping people connect to and embody the love presence we all are truly at our core. And relationships are the foundation of life, of all life, that's built upon this. And most importantly, the one we have with ourselves is, as Whitney Houston said, the greatest love of all that you can have is happening within you. And that is our mission. That's our purpose. That's our why. And I'm reminded of what Jimi Hendrix said, when the love of power overcomes the love, when the power of love, overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. Mm-hmm. And so, this week we came into really kind of crystallizing what it is we do. Why are we here as a union? And it's so important, I think. We wander through life sometimes just aimlessly, and I encourage our listeners to find your why. Why are you doing what you do? Mm-hmm. And when you can really catalyze everything and crystallize it into this is my why, there's something so beautiful, and the universe actually corresponds and relates and organizes itself around you to support that very thing. Mm-hmm. But here it is, we're talking about money, sex, and power. And ultimately, I can look at money and sex are aimed at power. Mm-hmm. Most of us, we try to get power. We think we're more powerful when we have more money, or we're more powerful if we have better and greater sex, or we have dominated. And it's time. A lot of the work that Heather and I do is about uncovering the shadow. Not shaming the shadow, because we all have shadowy aspects of ourselves, but what's driving your life and where are you out of alignment?
Mm-hmm. Somebody said yesterday or the day before, the beautiful struggle that many of us have, and we all have it in different areas. For us both, this issue with sexuality has been something that has been a misery program running in both of our lives on opposite ends of the spectrum. And when we came together, we knew that it was a gateway that we wanted to intentionally walk through together and reclaiming the innocence of who we are. Both of us, we've mentioned that we have grown up in a paradigm of the church where a lot of our sexuality was really covered in shame and secrecy and suppression. And so there was a lot of sexual misconduct that would come out, including in my life, including in Jason's life, it was kept in the catacombs and created more destruction and more wreckage in our life because it wasn't something that we felt comfortable coming out and talking about because of the shame factor. And so our goal here is to really let go of the shame and put what is inside of us out on the table and say, collectively as a society, we have a really dark thing that we need to look at together, because once we bring the light to certain things, it literally dissolves the power that the darkness has over us to stay in these cycles of misery.
Mm-hmm. And, we talked about, and we'll keep talking about this, David Hawkins' book, The Power versus Force, and what is true power and what is force. And one of the lowest emotions that we can have in our body, in our emotional body, in our mental body, is shame and guilt. And sex creates the sexual distortions, whether it be addiction to pornography, whether it be having affairs, whether it be, the rooms of recovery are filled with men and women who are sex and love addiction, Sexaholics Anonymous. There's SSA, there's many rooms, and there's Sexual Recovery Institute. But as a collective, we're really not dealing with the issue. Mm-hmm. Why? Why is this going on? I think we talked about this last week, that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. Mm-hmm. And we're really in a dis-ease, a disconnect with our true source of love itself. Mm-hmm. And we're out there trying to get this love in others. And this is the essence of who we are. This is a very raw and real conversation. It may make you feel a little uncomfortable because we're talking about something that, not only just sexual addiction, but we're talking about the abuse of children. Mm-hmm. There is satanic ritual abuse that's going on against children to take the innocence. Mm-hmm. There is stuff that it just needs to be exposed. So what we're doing is we're turning on the light and go, look, all right, cockroaches, we see you. Mm-hmm. We're going to clean out the house of the heart mind, and we're doing this internally. We're not here to say we've got this licked. This is something that we have looked at within this relationship that is so important. And I think probably in one of the breaks here, after one of our breaks, I'm going to read something that came across my news feed on Facebook today, or yesterday actually, from a dear sister posting her husband's post. And it was just so powerful, and it touched on the very thing. But I just...
As we're looking at all of this going on in the outside world, the question that we are always compelled to ask is, what is our piece in this? Because we know that unless we really look at the things that are causing this kind of misery in our own life, it's never going to change in the outside world. And I think our temptation sometimes is to see these perpetrators in the outside world and rally around going after them, rather than looking within and saying, where is this going on inside of myself? And so, I think right now is probably a good time. These are issues that Jason and I deal with on a daily basis, eradicating, these places of addiction within our own being. I came from, a place where I had so much shame and disconnection to my body, not realizing that it was societally programmed. And I think many women suffer this. There's a feeling of competition and shame that we carry. And so I was in a place where I would act out promiscuously, that I was not faithful in my marriage. And I would look for validation from that outside realm, because society says, if you're beautiful, if you are found attractive sexually, this is your value. Mm-hmm. This is your value.
Mm-hmm. And I, coming from a young man, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on Dr. Grant's show, but we joked about at some point before we launched The Powers of Love that this was going to be sex talk with The Powers of Love, because this is probably one of the most important conversations we could probably have. And we'll continue to, always come back to this. But, I came from many years of addiction to pornography, founding my father's. And this is probably a common story for many boys. You found your dad's mags, or you found something, or you went to your neighbor's house and they had some magazines and pornography. And my sex education was pornography. And finding pornography and masturbation at such a young age, growing up in a very dysfunctional home where there was a lot of fear and scarcity and wondering what was going to happen, and abuse and things. And so there was this finding love in something outside that brought comfort. And so it created this neural pathways in the mind. And this is what I'm doing, is I always know that when I out myself, I'm talking to the you that I am, that you are, that we are. And so there's years of trying to eradicate this. I spent years in Christian a paradigm of feeling guilty and wondering, why is this continuing to happen? I want to please you, God. I don't, I was told that these things are wrong, but no one was teaching how to really properly navigate this energy that is holy, that is righteous, that is pure. And how do you do it? But it's totally distorted right now. And so one of the things that's come up, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Hugh Hefner passing. There's going to be an unraveling that's going to go on. We just realized a couple of weeks or a couple of days ago, actually, that the chief head of Amazon, Amazon Movies just came out, and that he has had some stuff going on. And you're going to see this start popping up left and right, because this is a ball of yarn that I'm seeing start to unravel and show what's really going on. They call this the apocalypse. And what the apocalypse really means is the unveiling. Like what's behind. I kept seeing in my mind's eye little Toto, in the city of Oz, taking the curtain away from the guy sitting there pulling all this, the doohickeys and all that, acting like he's the great and powerful Oz. Well, behind it, there's something else going on. And so behind the veil are things that we, as humanity, as this planet, deserves to know the truth.
And sex, money, and power, as you're talking about this disclosure that's happening, this is in Hollywood, which we often affectionately refer to as the belly of the beast. And actually, that's probably, it's one of the bellies of this beast, because we know that as Hollywood goes, this is connected to our government. This is connected to the institutions of church. And, I want to be careful how I say that, because we know that there are people within every religious tradition that have a very sincere and pure intention on why they are there, and have really connected to the true source, the true essence of the message of that particular tradition. And, one of the things Jason just mentioned, when we are really connecting to the essence of any tradition, you are connecting to the source of yourself, your highest self, which is the God presence in all of us. And so as these destructive alliances have been reigning and ruling on our planet in formation, we want to bring light to these things, because our bodies, our sexuality, this energy that literally is the force of all creation, is our power. And when we bring it back into purity, not prudence, not prude, but when we reclaim the innocence and truth of who we are available to receive and experience the blessing of these gifts of our bodies in union. And we're going to talk about what this actually creates. The alchemy, when two become one, when two come together, they can create from a place of purity that really has an impact on the whole world.
And so what we're doing always in our own union, and what we're encouraging those of us and our clients and those that we work with, is to balance these powers. And the powers have been out of balance for way too long. And so our mission, once again, is to awaken this love energy within yourself, and then realize where the distortions are, where is the imbalances are, because the masculine and feminine, the war has got to cease. It has to cease.
We want to hear from you. We want to create an interactive experience here. So please email us at thepowersoflove1111@gmail.com, and visit us at our website, thepowersoflove.com, and on Facebook.
CRN listeners, when you come to Southern California, stop by a great restaurant, the Dresden Restaurant at 1760 North Vermont Avenue in Hollywood. Enjoy great entertainment, like the music of the legendary Marty and Elaine at the world-famous Dresden Restaurant. The Dresden was a location for the making of the movie Swingers. Now you can swing with stars Marty and Elaine. Plus, enjoy great food too, like French onion soup, artichoke hearts, and many other great appetizers. Seafood, there's salmon, shrimp scampi, New Zealand orange roughy, halibut, Lake Superior whitefish, and specialties like veal marsala, piccata, and parmigiana. Plus, we've got a great roast rack of lamb, chicken piccata, and cordon bleu, and pasta dishes too. Steaks, filet, New York, Chateaubriand for two. Much more too, including pork chops, prime rib of beef, and an incredibly extra large cut of prime rib. It's the Dresden Restaurant, open for lunch Monday through Saturday and dinner Monday through Sunday. Check us out at 1760 North Vermont Avenue or call 323-665-4294.
Hi everyone, this is Fred Dreyer with some breaking news. My new movie, Highway 395, has just been released. Highway 395 is my latest movie and is now available for all of my friends and listeners to own. Highway 395 is a classic modern-day Western thriller. Action, romance, and the frontier spirit. It's all there in my new movie, Highway 395. Now, here's the best part. You can own this movie tonight by going to my brand new website, freddryer.co. Head to my website now at freddryer.co and check out the trailer. Then order the movie for a great night of entertainment. And while you're at freddryer.co, check out the memorabilia and my career highlights. But don't forget to order my new action thriller movie, Highway 395. So head over to freddryer.co. That's freddryer.co.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
All right, welcome back to the Powers of Love. Jason Michael and Heather Powers. We are talking about probably the three most important topics that we could probably talk about: sex, money, and power, and the distortions around it. And this is really in light of what's come up in our current news with Harvey Weinstein, that I believe is just the tip of the iceberg. It is exposing something that has been covered over. And I'm going to read in the next break, in the next segment, something that was brought to my attention. And, you know, this distortion about it, this is just, it's an old wound that has festered, and it's now time to heal. And it's going to take some time. You know, this is, you know, we talk about this is a Titanic that we're shifting from the imbalances and the distortions that... You know, I heard a dear sister of ours, Anaya Sophia, out in the south of France. She said, the first blood that a woman will
shed,
the first blood that she'll shed is not her actually menstrual period. It's going to be her biting her tongue because of the sexual abuse that so many women on our planet. I don't know the statistics. I don't have it in front of me. But
it's 1 in 3. I know that the last time I looked at it, it's 1 in 3 young women are sexually abused or molested at a very, very early age. And I think it's 1 in 5 young men, because I think it's important to bring to light that this is not just exclusively women that are abused. We have all been caught in this misery loop that plays back and forth. And because we have not had the awareness of it, we subconsciously, unconsciously play into this perpetuation of it. And we were on a call earlier today, really powerful. Definitely we'll have these people on as guests, but something that this brother was sharing with us is that in order for the planet to really make a shift, and like you just said, there's a Titanic that needs to turn around, and it's going to turn around slowly. And we each have such a unique an important part in what we're doing to bring all kinds of things to light. It doesn't have to be just this. But what he shared was that in order for the tipping point to really occur and for all of us to really ascend to a higher level of awareness together, it takes 28.8% of the population on the planet to become aware of what's happening and to raise their frequency. And what we mean by raising the frequency is bringing in the light of awareness. When we become awake, we have light that illuminates the things that we once bought into, and now we can see through the illusion to a greater truth of ourselves and our environment and the planet. And so he also shared with us that there's really only about 13% of the planet that understands at this level of awareness right at this point.
Mm-hmm. And now what that's called is the tipping point, and we're approaching it. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. And that's part of our why. That's part of why we're here to do is just let's talk about love, baby. Let's talk about sex, you. Baby. Let's talk about it. Let's just talk about it. Then the shadow work, they talk about the long bag that we drag behind us.
Mm-hmm.
We suppress and oppress the shadow. We don't look at it. We don't talk about it. We act like it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And what eventually comes up is that you end up noticing there's a stench somewhere when things aren't moving. And so when these dark, deep recesses of our consciousness and the distortions around sex, money, and power, they're creating the wars. They're creating the distortions and the dis-ease that we have in our bodies and our mental bodies. And so take a look. Where are you today? You matter right where you are, listener. What is going on inside your own heart and mind matter. If you wake up and look at it and have that uncomfortable conversation, if you need to, with either a counselor, or if you can create that safe space of grace. In the beloved union, it's important that you guys create a sacred space to go, look, this is what's really going on. And don't blame me. I don't want to take on blame or shame, but talk about it, expose it, because then it loosens its power. That time where you're like, gosh, I've been holding on to this lie for so long, and if I just let it go, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like purging, right? When you food poisoning, there's a food poisoning in our system that we just need to purge and let it go so that we can heal, that we can bring the good in. And so this is the conversation that we're going to continue to have around sex, money, and power, and the distortions around it, and the purity that sex, money, and power are actually really good and helpful. And so we're going to continue talking about this. You're listening to The Powers of Love. Jason Michael and Heather Powers. Connect to us at thepowersoflove.com. You can see all of what we're doing. We got a beautiful retreat coming up in Shasta next month. We have room for one more couple. And go to our Facebook. Find us at The Powers of Love on Facebook. You can interact with us there. This is a movement of love, ladies and gentlemen. This really is. And we're excited to be with you here and now. We'll see you in just a little bit.
Located in the heart of Maui's premier resort, Kaanapali Beach Hotel is officially recognized as Hawaii's most Hawaiian hotel and the #1 best value in Hawaii. With a range of accommodations and affordable dining options, this is the ideal setting to turn Hawaiian dreams into lifelong memories. Live Hawaiian entertainment every evening, free year-round children's programs, weekly arts and crafts fairs, welcome breakfast, and departure kukui lei ceremonies add to the value. Swim in the whale-shaped pool, indulge in the fabulous spa and hotel salon. Enjoy Hawaiian hospitality at its best at the Kaanapali Beach Hotel. Call 800-262-8450 or go to kbhmaui.com. That's kbhmaui.com. Aloha.
Kaanapali Beach Hotel, Maui's Hawaiian Hotel.
If you're eligible for Medicare, you need to know there is money available to you that can lower your Medicare prescription costs. How much can you save? Find out now by making a free call to Health Markets. They'll search from a variety of nationally recognized plans to find you the right coverage at a price that fits your budget. And they'll do all this valuable research for you at no charge to you. And remember, you may be able to save money on your prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge. Call Health Markets right now.
800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. 800-990-0351. That's 800-990-0351.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of InSphere Insurance Solutions, Inc., licensed in all 50 states and D.C. Service and product availability varies by state. Agents may be compensated based on your enrollment.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Seekers of luscious and appetizing gustatorial pursuits, indulge your fancies with steaks so absolutely yum-yum, vegetarians have forsaken kale and Pilates and never look back. Fish specialties so fresh and delicious and chosen by King Neptune himself, and relish Columbo's Italian family specialties so delectable you'll be yelling out, bravo, bravo! And let's not forget Columbo's world-famous meatballs, and you've got to try their breakfast pizza. Oh, and jazz every night. Service that's friendly, not fawning, and at a price that'll keep you coming back. That's Columbo's, that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. Columbo's, Manja.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Powers of Love with Jason Michael and Heather Powers, and we are talking about sex, money, and power. And before we get back into this, I just want to give a quick little plug. You see us, if you're watching live on the cameras, you see us drinking out of our beautiful blue bottles that say love and awakening. And if you go to bluebottlelove.com, you can get these. They're great for the environment and have the company ethos is really powerful. Our dear sister Kaden does an amazing job with that. So
she's going to love that. Thank you. So one of the things I've been saying, and I don't know if we're really talking about money. I just realized we're not really.
Well, the reason I brought it in, I actually, Harvey Weinstein has a personal net worth of over $150 million. His company rakes in billions of dollars. And so with the women that have come out around this, their financial livelihood has been really, compromised because it required incredible courage for those to speak out going, this is ruining my life. Mm-hmm. And this is also my livelihood. So I've sucked it up for a while. We've heard casting couch stories for forever. We've heard about the Monica Lewinskys. We've heard about women who have been in places where their livelihood was dependent upon the man in power. And so money has everything to do with it. And you and I knew early on that as we went into this, that the sexual gateway and the money gateway were absolutely tied together. And that's the truth, I think, at the most fundamental levels of the global leadership.
Yeah, and it's the reason why there's distortions in relationships. And so once again, going back to why we're here to help restore relationship. Mm-hmm. in these three areas specifically. But I would love to read to our listeners something that came across my attention yesterday by a beautiful brother, Hanan Eisenman, and his beloved Sarah Sophia Eisenman. They're just a dynamic couple doing great things on the planet just to restore these divine union. And I'll just let it speak to your heart. Harvey Weinstein has emerged as a huge sexual predator, abusing women for decades as Hollywood's team of corporate lawyers, public relations pros, and assistants covered up his sick deeds. This shows unequivocally that Hollywood is sick through and through, an institution whose value system is morally bankrupt and needs to be removed from the consciousness of the country. But what else does this say for the state of masculinity in our country? People like Weinstein have been pumping out their preferred brand of, quote, masculinity, one that wallows and revels in violence and sexual exploitation of all kinds, dulling and exhausting the minds of the citizenry until they don't know how to act in any moral situation and are hopelessly disempowered and confused. This state of debasement, where no one remembers what right and wrong even is, let alone how to uphold it, allows them to continue to ply their trade and keep a stranglehold on the means of creative expression in film, publishing, and the media. These men and their enablers celebrate trickery of all kinds. They extol, quote, getting the deal, which is really the, quote, the kill by any means but telling the truth, a la Ari Gold, the agent in Entourage, the Machiavellian liar/trickster who will do anything to exploit for his own gain. They revel in exploiting the physical form of women and even men for their own deviant pleasure, rather than protecting our own beauty so it shines with the sacred force found in all of us. They pursue conquest of women rather than support and love. Like a predator stalking prey, they want to kill the life spark in women. And once they have done it, they go on to the next hunt, like an obsession. They project this violence onto the world, and the world has no other alternative. And the means of expression are controlled by the agents, the corporations, the lawyers, until we're all bereft and don't know what to do or where to turn. And this is where I love. There is a masculinity worlds away from this sick paradigm. This man knows who he is, and he's dedicated to protecting the life force as envisioned in women. He contends with the powerful forces in the world, overcomes the storms and challenges, and through his own capability, protects the tree of life so it can bloom, all represented in its highest form by women who are the embodiment of goddess. He is a shield and a supplier of love and life for his children. He stands in the breach as a bulwark, deflecting the predators and their means of death, and he loves his woman by protecting her as he would a growing tree, and allowing all her flowers and buds to bloom as expressions of pure scintillating life, recognizing that her life-giving powers nourish and take him closer to himself. His power comes from seeing her glow and shine with all her capability. She in turn brings him into her heart, cracks open his hard surface to renew and define him, making him shine with purpose and truth, so he may go back into the world and contend again, protecting the tree as it grows and strengthens their love forever. This is the man we have to bring back, everybody, to instill this creed in our kids instead of the Kill Bills and inglorious bastards of the wretched filth of the bankrupt, raping Hollywood that sells and rapes women's bodies and souls for money and false power. Harvey Weinstein has fallen, and Hollywood is rotting and self-destructing from the inside out. But do we have the courage to say yes to this true man and this new vision? Take a breath. Because this is what's coming. This is what's happening. There are men on the planet that are saying no to the sexual distortion within themselves. And I speak to the sisters and the women of the world. See them. They're coming. They may be small and few right now, but they're coming.
And I just want to take the moment to honor you, honey, because the courage that you have demonstrated over and over, and the heart intention to go into those catacombs and eradicate it. There is such a power that is rising from you in that purity. And I can see that purity is the real power. And so as we've done this together, this has been so much of our work because we both have had, addictive natures. Everyone, bottom line, guys, everybody has an addictive nature of some kind. That's the truth, whether it's sex, money, food, whatever. But as we've delved into in the safety of our relationship, knowing that the back door was closed, there is a misnomer, I think, that floats around in spiritual circles, especially the New Age spiritual circles, where, there is not a willingness to go all the way with someone. There's dating, yes, there's, trying on relationships for size, but I think there's also this false perception that is created about sexual freedom coming with polygamy, or not polygamy, but polyamory, or, just being free and open and giving a little bit of yourself here and there and everywhere. That is not accessing your true divine sexuality. True divine sexuality is accessed when you have two beings that come together that have stripped themselves naked before each other in every body before the body. Mm-hmm. And intimacy is created when you are willing to together look at what is continuing to block, what would hold back from having a full measure of love come in. This is what we talk about, the alchemy. You start to create magic with each other when all the barriers are taken away.
Yeah. And there is, you just said something very interesting about magic. In certain circles, they use sex magic. And I check your heart if you're using sex magic for service to self or service to others, because there is purity, there is innocence in divine love alchemy, in divine sex magic, when it's done in a pure container, when it's service to others, because this is a creational, powerful energy, and it's been hijacked and abused for a very long time. I remember hearing when I put a post up on Facebook about just the lights are on, predators, you're being seen, tick, 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 your time's up. And I got a message from a dear sister out in the UK who said, I've been dealing with a court case for the last 2 years of a guru, a spiritual guru who abused me. And this has been going on. And she's been, she almost is sad that she came up because it's been so hard on her. And I send her all our love. But this is just one case of so many gurus who have been distorting this energy for the sake of power. And it's a false power. And so that is being exposed as well. And I do want to bring up, there was a question that came up on our Facebook post from our dear sister Victoria in the UK. And she says, how do you approach difficult and sensitive subjects when one person in the relationship is burying their head in the ground?
That's a great question. Every bit of the work that we do is always pointing you back to you, because you can never control what anybody else is doing. And earlier, before we went to break, something came up, and I think it would be probably a really valuable exercise for all of us to do, but to really take a personal inventory and write it down. What do you feel about your sexuality? Like, really go into that question. What are the beliefs that you have around sexuality with yourself, sexuality with your partner, the things that you were brought up with? Because if we don't know what's going on in there, we can never really bring it to light and bring healing and allow love to come in where it needs to. And what will happen is, as we ask those questions, truth will always illuminate what we need to know in order to heal. That's how that's what love does. It constantly is calling us forward to a clearer, released perspective of ourselves, where we can hold ourselves in full self-acceptance, no shame. But you got to understand what's going on in there before you can move it. So I say to you, Victoria, start there. The beautiful thing about when we transform ourselves, we either cause transformation, we ripple out transformation to the people around us, or we come to a place where we realize that that's just not where they are yet. And sometimes that does mean that we have to walk away from a situation. But often, I'm coaching a beautiful woman right now who has been in a relationship where she's had a massive awakening to who she is and really dealing with these things. And by the very nature of her changing, her husband is starting to respond in ways that he never has, just by her doing the inner work on her own and not asking him or pushing him to do something that perhaps he's not ready to do. Just become that change.
I can't say anything other than that. I mean, one of my spiritual mentors says, one alone in consciousness constitutes the majority. And what that means is that you are the universe. Your world is a reflection of you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we want something in the world to change, meaning our spouse, our job, the government, whatever it is, most of us, we project out there and we try to change the furniture in the living room as opposed to just go within and go, what do I need to change in myself? That says, look, here's the deal. I know what I'm equal to. When I was in my marriage, when it was in a really challenging area, after therapy after therapy, therapist after therapist, I got really clear at my self-worth. And that goes back to what we thought about. Our mission is to awaken the power of love within your very self. When you get to go, I know who I am, and I know what I'm worth, and I know what I am wanting and to experience in love and union. And so going in there and getting clear and cleaning out your own inner closet, you'll find as you change your thoughts, as Dr. Wayne Dyer would say, change your thoughts, change your life. That's how things happen. We got to go within and not contend with the others. This is a common thing. We have many conversations with many couples who are going, I'm willing to do the work, but he's not, or I'm willing to work and she's not. And so is that an excuse for you not doing the work? And sometimes, we would never coach you to leave a relationship. It's like if both parties are willing to do the work and have that uncomfortable conversation, sometimes we just don't have that conversation.
Yeah.
Because it's too uncomfortable. We don't know what will happen if I bring something up and maybe he's going to get upset at me because I'm bringing up an uncomfortable thing. Stand your ground.
And I want to just bring our own experience to that, because I think for both of us, and these two issues have been sex and money. There are times when either one of us will bring that up to the other, and it inflames the situation. It makes us feel, we go into our armored heart and we guard and we start deflecting because they are such painful roots. And the only way to get down to those roots and really pull them up is by looking at them square on, not just once, because these are things that have had, they've been ingrained in our psyche for so long. Something I also just wanted to say, sisters, there is a place that the feminine is rising. There's no question about it. We're rising in our power. But I really want to encourage us to look at how we're rising in our power. We don't want to rise in retaliation to the man and how we have been wounded by the man. We want to rise in our feminine nature that is fully healed. And again, this is why we're talking about this, because when you are willing to go into the roots of why you have allowed yourself to be in a position of victimization, you can reverse that when you realize that, we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but no one is ever a victim. We are all perpetrators and all victims in some way, shape, or form. So
just take a breath. What's coming from me personally, because these are our stormy waters. There's stormy waters within, and we just stress this is a place, if you are struggling with this, if this is something that in your relationship or in your personal, because here's the deal, if you're even a single and you want to manifest in your life true, powerful love, something that just rocks your world, you got to get real. You got to get real. And here's the deal, you'll manifest your equal. And
Good,
thank God for
ugly.
that. Thank God for that, because I never thought I'd ever be free from this addiction in my life. I would journal and pray and like, why? And I knew that there was power in sexual healing. And so we offer this, we call this medicine. This is part of what we're going to be doing in our retreat coming up in Shasta, is to go deep into these places, and we bring this healing, this place of healing. So there's no judgment. And so that's what I want to say, is just in your relationships and even with yourself. Once again, blame and shame are not helpful. Don't blame yourself. Don't go into shame. Just get real, get raw, and get honest and transparent and come into integrity. Because once you're in integrity, purity is your protection. You're untouchable. Your relationship's untouchable. All right, so we are the Powers of Love, Jason Michael and Heather Powers here on CRN. We're so grateful to be here. connect with us on thepowersoflove.com. Go to our Facebook group, The Powers of Love, and stay connected. And we'll be right back with a song that is going to restore us to our innocence, coming back right after this break.
Experiencing pain, back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain, pain from a sports injury? If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
How old are you? 25, 35, 50, or older? If you have pain, we can help. Do your knees hurt?
Ow!
Let me ask you again. Are your knees killing you?
Oh, yeah. Are they ever?
What about your back? When you bend over, does it feel like this? How about when you get out of bed in the morning? If you're like me, your knees and back feel like this.
Oh, that hurts.
I found a company called the Pain Relief Hotline. They specialize in ways to treat your knee, back, and neck pain without surgery or taking medications. The good news is if you have insurance, you may have little or no cost or out-of-pocket expense. I've used them. It works. Call the Pain Relief Hotline now for free information. 800-309-2677. 800-309-2677. Call now. 800-309-2677. That's 800-309-2677.
Come to Angelo's and Vinci's to see the memorabilia of movie stars and theatrical magic right in downtown Fullerton, California. See the art of the masters, an Italian town square complete with storefronts of old Italian butchers and cheesemongers, fruit and wine vendors, seamstresses showing their wares, fairy lights from cathedral ceilings, and our ancestors smiling down at you from the family love altar. The romance of Romeo and Juliet, and find the mystical Room of the Moon. And don't forget King Kong, Dracula, Frankenstein, and who knows what awaits you in the wine cellar. Enjoy the great food. We hand stuff our pastas, roll each and every tortellini, bake our own bread, make our own sauces fresh from our private stock of Sicilian family recipes. From pasta to seafood, chicken to award-winning pizzas, tiramisu flown in from Rome. If you can't find something on our menu to tempt you, you don't like Italian food. Try our Sunday brunch, just $18.95, and Angelo's and Vinci's has been named 2 years in a row Best Italian Restaurant in Orange County. Angelo's and Vinci's Restaurant at 550 North Harbor Boulevard in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022.
Welcome back. What a conversation. It's one that we will continue to unpack in different shows coming up, because we know that this really is the heart of a lot of the warring between the masculine and feminine, and between people groups upon the planet. It has been instilled in us for eons, for a very long time. And so it is our intention, it is our why to bring liberation and freedom and true healing and purity to this most important area of our life.
Mm-hmm. And just bring happiness and peace when we come into this wholeness and this purity and this innocent place of play. You know, that sex is good, sex is fun, money's good, money's fun, power in its right and perfect place is just beyond. And so these trifectas, this triune energy, can be really helpful to produce a planet, a world, as we say, that works for everyone, not just men, not just rich corporate men, you know, power men. This is for everyone.
And I just want to say, if you are in a place where you need some support to walk through some of these really tender spaces within yourself or your marriage, this is not just for couples, but individuals. Jason and I are both available to work with you as spiritual counselors to walk you through these muddy waters, these murky waters within ourselves. And again, we have a retreat coming up in Shasta. We've got room for one more couple, and you can find out a little bit more about that at thepowersoflove.com.
All right, we're going to sing out a chant that we found on Heather's birthday this last year, 6/22, and it was an evening of really the mysteries of Mary Magdalene. Mm-hmm. And Mary Magdalene is a very sacred figure in our journey, the path of Yeshua ben Joseph and Mary Magdalena, their love and their union that is not in the collective understanding, but it will in time. But this is one of their chants they would do. It's from the Pistis Sophia, chapter 10. And it was a chant that they would do together to just really bring the innocence back into their union and to call in forgiveness. So listen to these words. Let these vibrations, let this frequency remind you of who you are.
Zama zama oza rachama ozai. 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 Zama zama oza rachama ozai.
Zama osa rachama osai. Zama 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 zama osa rachama osai. Oh, beloved of my heart, open up my eye. In thy vision purity, bliss and true delight. First and last the mystery, born of innocence are we. Herein lies all that we need, seal the holy child. Zama zama osa rachama osai. 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 Zama zama osa rachama osai.
Which was most appropriate because that was your theme.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear